Happy holidays! Now, capturing family memories is a little different than posting for social media. You can get a little closer, you can get a little more personal, and these moments aren't as disposable. On social media, once you get your likes, people move on. But shooting for your family, these photos and videos might be found years or generations later. Out of all the projects I work on, all the content I get paid for, my favorite things are to put together family holiday videos. We've got some tips to help you produce and share your memories. I think your family's gonna dig this. Maybe when you're taking a break from editing, we'd be ever so grateful if you would catch up on all the work here on reviews.org. The subscription buttons below, that's how you get more content like this, including reviews, tips and tricks, and some killer contests coming up. Stay tuned. I love cutting a focused, fun, short holiday video. We take for granted how much content we really produce these days. Thanks to pocket supercomputers, our phones have amazing cameras. And we think little of snapping a quick candid or a fun selfie. We like to document and share. I personally come by this almost genetically. My grandfather shot tons of footage on an 8mm film camera when he was young, and now I get to watch my grandparents dance a jitterbug in their 20s. I never knew them like this, so this is kind of rad being able to experience that. I'm trying to do the same for my daughter so she can see her first steps in 4K, or a fun edit of her first haircut at a salon. I want to preserve my family history like my grandfather did. Just a little practice and a little planning can turn a handful of individual images into a fun project worth keeping. That's enough rambling for me. Let's jump into some tips. Number 1, shoot a lot. Check your phone storage before an event and plan to keep your phone or camera ready to shoot. You just want to be ready when a fun moment might happen. We're not shooting on film, so it's okay to shoot a little heavier. And don't be afraid to let individual clips run longer. We're doing this with the idea of cutting them down. So you don't want to miss a moment by being concerned about ending a clip too soon. Keep an eye out for interactions. 2 people going in for a hug, the punchline to the end of a joke, little kids playing games. Those high points have fun, emotional energy and make for great memories. Also, the flip side of this, try to be discreet. Don't go shoving your phone in people's faces. Don't interrupt moments. Just try to be ready to capture them from the side. Tip number 2, shoot even more. When we edit a video, there are all these nifty tools we can use to transition from clip to clip. And you'll see lots of folks play with fades and wipes and slides. But in preserving a memory for your family, you can shoot additional little clips to place in between your more important larger clips. Now, we call these little clips B-roll in the biz. That's some fancy Hollywood speak for you there. Decorations, weather, gifts, close-ups on hands, food pictures. These little clips not only help you transition from scene to scene, but they also help your family remember more of the event, remember more of the day. And when you look back on this video years later, you'll remember more from these little slice of life clips. Tip number 3, learn your camera before. Your camera or your phone is a really fun tool, but you don't want to be figuring it out in the middle of your event. Take a little time to practice beforehand, but really get a feel for what modes and settings it has. Test out a few shots in brighter and darker conditions. You want to be focused more on the moment happening right in front of you than the physical control of your camera. You want to be looking out, not looking in. Also, you probably want to participate in the gathering, not just be a documentarian. I think this is why so many folks feel separated from people when they use a camera. The more familiar you are with your gear, the more that operation fades into the background. I've been shooting heavy on phone cameras for so long now, I'm barely thinking about the technical aspects of photography. It's muscle memory at this point. A little practice goes a long way. Tip number 4, Be collaborative. Now, while you've been running around and shooting, your family has probably captured a few fun shots too. iPhone to iPhone, you can use AirDrop. Android to Android, you can send over Nearby Share, and maybe consider some kind of cloud storage your relatives can upload to at the end of the party. If someone else nailed a great shot, it makes your finished video feel more like a family production. And it'll probably encourage more participation from people the next time you get together. Tip number 5, consider a theme. This one's a bit trickier as we start thinking more like an editor and less like a cinematographer. Parties tend to have a flow or an energy, a vibe starts rising to the top. Instead of trying to capture the whole complete holiday comprehensively, try to break it down to a simpler primary theme. One year for Christmas, we were just super into an ugly sweater contest. Another year, the high point of the night was a white elephant exchange. For several Thanksgivings now, I just personally enjoy shooting the food preparation. That's just fun for me. You might feel like you're missing out or that the video will be incomplete, but I find these more condensed videos are more fun for my family to revisit. Tip number 6, edit soon. Tip 6 is also kind of tricky because all of you watching this will be using different tools and different phones and cameras and computers and software. But as soon as you can, get that footage into a program to edit your video, especially while the energy of the event is still fresh. You have a better memory of the media you shot. It makes the flow of editing so much easier while it's all still present. The farther you get from the event, the harder it is to drum up that energy to go back and finish. It's actually here, I think, is where most of these projects die. People give themselves a day off to rest, and then that turns into 2 or 3 days. Then, maybe they'll just share a couple individual photos, and a year later, they clean their phone storage, and, who needs all these little clips? Lately, I've been advocating more and more folks try editing from their phones. The actual editing tools are a little twitchier to use on smaller phone screens, but the editing software is inside the camera you're probably shooting on. It really doesn't get much faster. Literally, as soon as I've finished a clip I think is fun, I can immediately drop it into an editing timeline, and at the end of the night, I just have to move a few clips around, trim some of them down, and throw in some transitions. I've edited, finished, and rendered event videos on cab rides back to my hotel. It's so fast now. This video that you're watching now, we can't make this a comprehensive list, but there are a bunch of editing apps out there that work great on phones and tablets. So if you'd like a more specific breakdown on the pros and cons of what these apps can do, drop us a comment down below and we'll take a look at that in a future video. Tip number 7, trim way down. Like I said, there's a feeling that people will want you to include everything and everyone, and that you need hours of footage to relive the joy of that gathering, and that's probably not true. I like to think of my family videos more like music videos, short clips, punchy edits, and just enough to spark the memory from the viewer before you move on to the next clip. Again, I'm getting kind of artsy-fartsy here, but the gathering had a feeling, and your edit can reflect that. You can prime the viewer with the length of clips you use in your edit. If you keep those clips fairly consistent, the viewer knows, or they'll feel a transition is coming up, and they'll be more likely to watch to the end of the video. My daughter's first trip to visit a mall Santa, no clip in that video is longer than 2 seconds until she gets to see Santa. Thanksgiving this year, the vibe was super chill. It was really comfy, but the video seemed to flow a little better with 4-second clips and 2-second transitions. Now, I'm not saying turn your videos into Hollywood action edits, just an assault on the senses, but be really brutal with what you cut. And I think your video will be more fun to watch for that. You still have all the longer clips if anyone wants them, but I guarantee you that my family watched my edit of Lex's first haircut a ton more than the actual longer clips of her getting her haircut. I love my daughter more than anything else on this planet, but really, who wants to sit through this? No one's gonna watch this. Moving on. Tip number 8. Music makes a huge difference. Wrapping up our list, it makes your editing and sharing a little more complicated, but music totally makes the difference. Again, we're thinking of concepts and vibes, but when you're leaving a holiday gathering, play a silly game in your brain. What song best captured the mood of that night. The nice thing about picking a song, you can also tie your edits to the beat, work them to the tempo, and it can give you a harder limit for the overall length of your project. My daughter's haircut video, soundtracked by Janelle Monáe. Thanksgiving this year was an up-tempo instrumental jazz rendition of Silent Night. Christmas 2 years ago, scored by J.D. McPherson. And my daughter's very first soccer practice, of course, it had to be Daft Punk. And I can't play any of that for you right now because on YouTube, we'd be wrecked by copyright claims. But you see, I'm making these for my family to be shared by my family and not for public internet points. Privately distributed, we can play a little looser with copyright law. Just a little bit. But if you want more people to see your effort, if you want to share more publicly, there are numerous resources for media and audio you can use, which is already cleared for public distribution. Again, if that's something you'd be interested in, comments. We want the comments, and we'd also appreciate folks sharing these videos, just putting the word out there. If there's any interest, we can put together some more guides and tutorials and really dig in a little deeper on all of the cool things you can do with your cameras and computers and your phones and your tablets. Getting to the end here, landing this plane, I think there's something really special, not just finishing a video project, but finishing a project focusing on people that you care about. So hopefully these 8 tips can spark some imagination. We can share some creative energy, and hopefully you're more excited to make a fun family video. I know from my family, and I hope for yours, that your relatives will appreciate the effort, and most of all, you'll have something to look back on years later. Happy holidays from the whole team here, and thank you for watching, sharing, subscribing to the channel. For Reviews.org, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, aka Some Gadget Guy, and I'll catch you all on the next video.